Oh, this is Dr. Michael Greger coming to you live from my treadmill, as I do every month, to answer any questions you may have. Just did a Facebook Live about an hour ago. And then after this, YouTube for half an hour. Actually going to be back on Facebook /gorgeously green. Sophie's podcast or live Facebook thing. And so if she takes questions, there's another opportunity for you to ask questions. But let's dive right in. Although, let me give a quick background for anyone who's not familiar with my work. Every year, should I do the whole spiel? Forget the spiel. If you don't know who I am, go to NutritionFacts.org. Find out. Let's get straight to your questions. It'll just give us more question time. How about that? Anita Turner asks, my mom is 86, been on a whole food plant-based diet for 3 years, still can't get her blood pressure normalized. What foods might she incorporate in order to help with it? My book, How Not to Die, it's, all proceeds, of course, from all my books go to charity. I'm not just making a plug to enrich myself. In How Not to Die, first 15 chapters, I talk about the role diet may play preventing, arresting, or reversing each of our top 15 killers. Is the sound off or something? Oh, okay, we got someone just messaged me. I talk about the role diet may play preventing, arresting, reversing each of our top 15 killers. And so basically, surprise, surprise, every chapter basically ends the same way. Oh, this is a heart healthy diet is a liver healthy diet, is a kidney healthy diet, is a brain healthy diet, etc. A diet centered around whole plant foods. But then each chapter I say, okay, but that's not enough. Just because the average blood pressure of those eating whole food plant-based diets nails it at 110/65. Just like the average cholesterol of those eating whole food plant-based diet nails it at like a total of 150 or a LDL of under 70, doesn't mean it's not a bell curve, right? And so some people are stuck out here thanks to genetics or a variety of factors, and so need extra help. So I talk about specific foods that can help with specific conditions. So when it comes to hypertension, the two things I probably highlight a bunch of stuff, but the two things that come to mind right away, ground flax seeds. So spoonfuls of flax seeds found to work as what were pitted head to head against leading. I'm sorry, I'm getting it mixed up with hibiscus. No, spoonfuls of ground flaxseed. This was a randomized controlled trial, and the way they would do that, how do you do a placebo-controlled trial for something like flax seeds? You tend to notice you're eating flax seeds. What they did is they made muffins for people, either flaxseed muffins or non-flaxseed muffins, and they tasted evidently the same. And they made breads, all sorts of stuff. And so you can actually randomize people to flax seeds to non-flax seeds and actually see what happens. And those eating flax seeds had a better drop in blood pressure, dramatic drop in blood pressure, better than leading blood pressure medications. Okay, so work better and only has good side effects, right? Curing constipation, reducing blood pressure, not only blood pressure, but blood sugars and triglycerides and blood cholesterol, reducing inflammation, reducing risk of breast and prostate cancer. I've got tons of flaxseed videos. Check it out. I recommend a tablespoon of ground flax seeds a day, although for high blood pressure, may need more. Certainly the studies suggest such. The other thing is hibiscus tea. I recommend 3 different types of beverages. So I encourage people to drink 5 12-ounce glasses of one of 3 beverages, water, green tea, or an herbal tea called hibiscus. And one of the reasons is one study found that 2 strong cups of hibiscus tea a day, I think they used, if I remember correctly, 5 tea bags in 2 cups, either 5 or 3. I know it was more than 1 each. So it was strong tea. 2 cups of strong hibiscus tea every morning, once a day in the morning, worked as well as the blood pressure drug they tested against. I believe it was an ACE inhibitor. I don't remember exactly what drug they tested against, but it worked just as well. The drug, and of course, has all sorts of other beneficial effects. You can check out my hibiscus videos. My only caveat there, did I talk about that? I think when I was on live with Ryan and Kelly, they had a hibiscus on the table, and I talked a little bit about hibiscus. The only caveat is, they don't call it sour tea for nothing. It's another name for it. It's also called Jamaica tea, but it is sour, and the natural acids can hurt your enamel unless you rinse your mouth out with water afterwards. The temptation is to brush your teeth afterwards. That's the worst thing you can do because your enamel's in a softened state thanks to the acid, whether you're eating citrus or anything sour. And that's not when you want to brush your teeth. You want to just rinse your mouth out with water, get the acids off your teeth, and then you're all set. And then, of course, the caveats with green tea is if you're actually going to eat the tea, like use matcha tea, where you actually, powdered green tea, or you throw tea leaves in a smoothie. If you're actually going to eat the tea leaves, then I get tea sourced from Japan rather than China, because the lead levels found in Chinese tea doesn't actually leach out of the tea into the water. So you can use Chinese tea if you're just making tea, but if actually eating the tea leaves, get tea leaves from Japan. That was a long answer. Sorry about that, but hopefully it will help your mother, Anita. Ro Saxena, or Saxena, asks, is carrageenan safe to eat? I bet that's literally the name of my video on carrageenan. So yeah, I think I did a series, or maybe just one video, where I reviewed all the carrageenan science. And so just type in carrageenan if you can spell it. How's that for a toughie? Into NutritionFacts.org, pop right up, and talk about the controversy and whether or not you should try to avoid this stuff. And I was told by someone at Silk, the soy milk company or soy food company, someone that works there, that they actually changed the formulation of their soy milk because of that video to switch. I think they switched over to locust bean gum from carrageenan. And so I felt really, I don't know. I felt like I had made a difference. And so that's neat. And they didn't tell me. I just happened to be sitting at a table with that person at a conference one time. And they're like, oh yeah, we switched our thing. All right. That's great. All right. Anyway. Okay. Laura Perry asks, ketogenic diet includes nuts and flax seeds. Nuts and flax seeds are good. Ketogenic diets are not. Are there any studies on vegan versus ketogenic? There's actually very few studies on ketogenic diets, period, which should tell you something. Or is it just another low-carb diet repackaged? It is another low-carb diet repackaged, but has, it's just the way they can twist it into a new packaging is by tweaking further. So truly, ketogenic diets are extremely low carbohydrate diets. And I have a series of videos that I'm going to do on ketogenic diets and intermittent fasting, water only fasting. It's just that this book deadline slipped in and cut me off right when I was doing those, but I will get those up eventually. Bottom line is, do not eat a ketogenic diet. But don't listen to me. Listen to the science, and I wish I could present you the science right here, but unfortunately, you'll have to subscribe to NutritionFacts.org and wait until it comes up. But and I don't want to say trust me, but I'm just that's more of a spoiler alert. And so once you see the science, I think you will agree that you're glad you were not on a ketogenic diet. Okay, is lead from pencils safe to get on your skin? Pencil lead is actually not lead. The reason they, so it's like a graphite, it's like carbon. I wonder if it used to be made out of lead, and that's why they called it lead, or it just looks like lead. I don't know, but I don't know how it got its name. But there is, as far as I know, no lead in actual lead pencils. So I don't know why you'd be drawing on yourself, but I wouldn't worry about using pencils other than accidentally poking yourself. And don't run with them in your mouth. Ouch. All right, because you might fall on. Anyway, okay. Very Odd Pixels asks, is there any reason why you would want to soak walnuts before eating them? In fact, the exact opposite. You specifically do not want to soak your walnuts. Why? Because you're going to get rid of phytates. The reason people soak their nuts is that they want to get rid of phytates, which they consider to be a mineral inhibitor. And I have videos busting that myth. In fact, phytates are one of the reasons we should seek out foods that are seeds, like nuts, seeds, and whole grains. That's the short answer. Check out the video for more by typing in phytates. And it should pop right up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Jake says pencils don't have lead. They use graphite now, but that's implying that they used to use lead. I'm still not even sure about that. But anyway, yeah, still would need them though. Okay. Scott Berger asks for the cigarette smoke guy. Food. Someone must have asked a question about cigarette smoke, and they're answering them. I did not see the answer. The problem, well, it's on. I used to tell people, if you want your question answered, go early to the Facebook Live page and put it on, right? And then you'll be the first one answered. But it turns out that like they only allow you to start, like basically if you do it before certain hours, before, I forget what the cutoff was, but if you do like 10 hours before, they just erase it and they only start, I don't know. So that's why there's questions that I miss. Starting at the top of my list, but may not be the top of your list. All right, Ro Saxena. Oh, Ro is back. Says, did I suffer from arsenic poisoning? Last year as a vegan, I got many painful pus-filled lumps all over my body. I ate lots of oil and rice. Could that be the culprit? I do not think painful pus-filled lumps are a sign of arsenic poisoning. But presumably they all went away. I'm not sure. But no, I don't think it was the rice and oil that did it. Ro asks, I've been sprinkling raw green tea leaves over my food instead of throwing them away. Great. Is that too much caffeine? I wouldn't, I would stay away from caffeinated foods and beverages. Depends when you go to bed, but I try to stay with it before 4 p.m. Depends actually how well your liver metabolizes, detoxifies caffeine. And so for some people it's different, but if you find that you drink green tea or eat green tea after a certain time of day, that you have trouble getting to sleep, that's your sign that you should move it earlier than that. All right. Is non-dairy dark chocolate healthy? Should I just stick to cocoa powder instead? You should just stick to cocoa powder instead. So cocoa powder is the reason you'd eat dark chocolate. That's the beneficial part. So it's composed of 3 things: fat, cocoa butter, sugar, and cocoa powder. The fat and the sugar isn't good for you, but the cocoa powder is good for you. So why not just sprinkle cocoa powder on your oatmeal or put it in a smoothie or whatever you want to do. So you make things as chocolatey as you want without the downsides. And there's actually benefits. So I have videos on showing improvement in arterial function things with cocoa consumption, but not necessarily chocolate consumption. Okay, Scott is responding to a vegetable wash person. Saying, yes, I talk about a DIY vegetable, cheap fruit and vegetable wash you can make at home, which is basically a saltwater solution. Yep, there's a video about that. Okay, is it safe to be exposed to cooking fumes? No. Oh, that's a great question. There's a reason. So the reason thought to be why those who eat more plant-based diets have lower rates of lung cancer. The mechanism is thought to be because they're not exposed to those fumes. Now, of course, it doesn't matter how well you eat. If you're cooking meat for somebody else, that could be a problem. And so I have videos. So this is particularly important for pregnant women to stay away from kind of barbecue fumes. I have videos. A bunch of videos, just type in fumes, and talks about those issues. And I think I have one coming up. I scripted it, but I don't think it's up yet. Talking about even outside. They did these modeling studies where even outside you don't want to be too close to a barbecue because because of these I forget whether it's polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or some other toxins actually absorbed even through your skin, even if you don't breathe it in. Anyway, can music reduce one's appetite? I actually reviewed the Music as Medicine. I have a video called Music as Medicine. The music literature, because I just found it so fascinating. I don't remember anything about appetite, but I have a bunch of things about music and mood, and I think even about allergic reactions and things. So check out that if you're interested. And then it's like different kind of like, metal versus Mozart. What happens and the different health effects. I don't think appetite was one of them, but they're fascinating videos. I had a lot of fun putting them together. James Mahmood asks, it would be interesting to hear my plans and goals for the future. What am I looking forward to? Which, wow, it sounds like you're a born interviewer. So what are my plans and goals for the future? Well, we are starting on February. I'm going to sit down and do a series of courses, of CME courses, continuing medical education courses for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. Every doctor in the country to remain licensed needs to get a certain amount of continuing medical education credits to kind of stay on top of things. Often, medical institutions will then subsidize doctors to get their CME. And so, of course, drug companies offer free CME, or they fly you to some exotic locale. I'm not flying anyone to exotic locales, but I'm really excited that the American College of Lifestyle Medicine is going to offer, not just some biased drug thing, but actually informing doctors on how they can best treat the cause for some of the leading causes of death and disability, these lifestyle-related diseases. And so they asked me to do a whole series of courses. I'm super excited to do that. Even if you're not a medical professional, you can sign up and get some kind of certificate. It's going to be based on how not to die. And I'm excited about putting it together. And so I'm going to do that before March. And March is when I start the next book, How Not to Diet. I only have a year to write it. There's 80,000 articles on obesity in the medical literature. And so it's going to be an intense year to get it finished. By March 2019, it'll be out December 2019, and then I'll go on the road 2020. And then back to writing the next book, which will be How Not to Age, talking about all the new longevity research, which is very exciting. All right, so that's the next, and then that'll be another 3-year cycle, and then there's another book I have planned, and we'll just go from there. I think I have my up till let me see. I can pull up my schedule right now. I have till 2029. I'm all booked up till 2029, but 2030, who knows what's happening? We will find out. All right. Next, Ro asked, does sunlight kill bacteria? Sunlight can kill bacteria, but I would not. I would still wash your hands and not just go outside. Ro asks, which foods reduce irritability? Are we talking about like irritable bowel or irritable mood? I don't know if irritability has ever been kind of done as an outcome, but certainly in terms of improving mood, in terms of reducing anxiety, stress, and improving mood, so lowering depressive symptoms. Plant-based diets, University of Arizona study, did this randomized trial, because they thought it was the arachidonic acid, this long-chain inflammatory omega-6 fatty acid found predominantly in chicken and eggs, but also other meats, so they removed eggs, chicken, and other meat, and saw significant improvement in mood within just 2 weeks. Though I don't think, because they thought this, they attributed it to the neuroinflammation triggered by the arachidonic acid, but we may be able to clear that inflammation from our brains in as few as 2 weeks by cutting down our consumption of eggs, chicken, and other meat. Although I don't remember if anything like irritability, they measured anything like that, so I am not sure. MW asks, hi. I would like to know, doctor, my opinion about benfotiamine in regards to diabetes. That must be a brand name for some drug. Let me see if I can find the real name for it. I've not heard of it. It is, it's not a drug. It looks like it's some supplement, some branded supplement. That's always a bad sign that they're trying to, it's a relative of thiamine. I have never heard of it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't, let me see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it into my favorite website on the planet, which is No, not NutritionFacts.org. That's my second favorite. First favorite is PubMed.gov. It is the database of the National Library of Medicine, which shut down. I mean, it didn't completely shut down, but it shut down to new updates over the weekend with the government shutdown. So, like, the world's biomedical, research ground to a halt in terms of new updates. That's why maybe it shouldn't be run by the federal government, but maybe some kind of consortium of countries around the world, so we don't have to rely on our politicians to get our science. Anyway, there's a bunch of articles. Looks like there's 100 and there are a bunch of articles on. There's 147 articles on benfotiamine. Benfotiamine? I don't know. I'll check it out. And if there's any good data, human data, I'll do a video about it. Thanks so much for letting me know about it. Okay. Let me get back here. Bizcochitos. Gayatita asks, links between female body. Oh, hirsutism. Oh my God, I got videos about that. What was the video? Okay. I bet. I wonder if I have hirsutism as a tag. So this is basically excess body hair. Is it tea tree oil? I think it's tea tree oil. Yes. Okay. Tea tree oil on the skin, topical application of tea tree oil as a treatment for excessive hairiness, happened to be in women, on different body parts, and it was found to be effective. What they do is they measure the width of the hair, and yes. So if you type in tea tree oil, it's not up yet. I have a video coming out about it. And so, yes, that is a treatment, but I'm not sure. I don't remember what dose they used. And I know there's some warnings about tea tree oil. Like it has to be fresh. Once it turns a certain color or something, then it gets oxidized and can cause problems. You never drink the stuff. Anyway, got lots of videos about tea tree oil coming up. It's good for nail fungus. What was else? I did a whole bunch of videos. Anyway, they're all scripted. They're coming up. See, I had to script all these videos because I got to work on the book for the next few months. So I had to get a whole bunch of videos. So there's all these great content coming up, including treatment for excessive body hairiness on women. You just have to subscribe, and you'll get an email when the new videos come out, and you can check them out. All right, but yeah. Oh, and I have another video. I think on spearmint tea. Yeah, so anyway, search on the site and you will find, hopefully. Okay. Ro asks, is high fructose corn syrup bad for you? Whether or not it's worse for you than sucrose, table sugar, I think it's an open research question, but whether or not it's bad for you is, as far as I'm concerned, not an open research question. Yes, it's bad for you, as is all refined sugar, all industrial sugar. Stay away from added sugars, period, whether it's added in high fructose corn syrup or whether it's added in sucrose, all bad. I'm actually doing a series of videos on a series of sugar videos, and that's one of the things that I ran across. And there's some really cool data on switching kids from high sugar diets, low sugar diets, and you can see some really remarkable changes. So yeah, we should reduce our added sugar content, ideally as low as possible. And in fact, so the World Health Organization now has conditional recommendation for 5%, which is close to what the American Heart Association pushed for. They're more like 6 or 7, but 5% of calories from added sugar means that we can't even have one bottle of soda or one a day, a small bottle of soda that would be more added sugars than you'd want. So yes, get your sugars the way nature intended from whole food sources like fruit. Okay. Is couscous okay? Well, couscous is a grain product, and so you want whole grain. So ideally intact grains, which is not, so that would be a wheat berry. But the second best would be at least whole, so you can get a whole grain couscous, or you can go so like whole wheat couscous or white couscous. Stick to whole wheat if you're going to eat couscous. Okay, Ella asks, what kind of whole food plant-based diet would you recommend for insulin resistance? So low carb, low fat, etc. Do you have any other tips for people suffering from insulin resistance? And so if you're on a whole food plant-based diet, just like your, hypertension should go away, so should your insulin resistance, but there are still things you can do and still secondary causes that can be a problem. So, for example, central obesity. So having a waist circumference that is more than half of your height means you have too much fat amongst your internal organs. That's a marker of visceral adiposity. Or you can have too much liver fat. You can suffer from something called non-alcoholic or alcoholic fatty liver disease that can also increase insulin resistance. And so what you want to do is, if you're in that situation, you want to lose weight but in terms of and not eat calories in excess, because that can end up fattening your liver. What else would you do? Oh, and exercise, movement, of course, duh. So you can dramatically improve insulin sensitivity within minutes by just getting on a treadmill and moving around. So even if you're skinny, have insulin resistance, exercise will help. Daily exercise, ideally 90 minutes moderate exercise or 45 minutes of vigorous exercise every day, 7 days a week. But any amount of exercise is better than none. All right, I've got to jump on this live Facebook thing at 8:30 sharp. So I may have to get off like a minute early, but I got like about 2 minutes left. And again, I'm going to Facebook.com/gorgeouslygreen, Sophie Uliano's site, to do a live Facebook thing for half an hour. My 15th interview of the day, and then I get to eat lunch. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Where were we? Marie Kessler asks, I'm sorry, I missed a trio. Any evidence for using plant-based diets to safely treat anxiety? I just talked about that, actually. So rewind the video when you get a chance. Muslima asks, just commented on another question. Marie asks, I read a scientific article recently that the arsenic that when ingesting food accumulates, is not flushed from the body. Is that true? I'd love to see that article. I don't think it's true. That's how you measure arsenic exposures. You measure urinary arsenic because it does flow right through you, which is great because you stop eating it and then your body kind of naturally detoxifies itself. Judith asks, have I ever thought about the best way to clean up after using the bathroom? Ooh, like toilet paper, bidet, or like wet wipes. There's actually an article in peer-reviewed medical literature on just that question. It goes through the whole history. Absolutely fascinating. And I was like, should I do a video about that? And I was like, I don't know. But now that I got that question, I will go back, find that. And I was like, no, I've got more important things to worry about. But no, thanks to your question, I'm going to go back, find that paper, and see what they said. That's a funny. Okay. All right. I'm doing it. I'm going to find it again. Marina. Oh, gosh darn it. That was my alarm going off saying I've got 1 minute to get over to this Facebook Live thing. So I'm switching over. Sorry, I'm cutting it a few seconds short. If I don't see you over on Facebook right now, I will talk to you next month. I hope your New Year's resolutions continue to go strong. Unless they were to start smoking or something, in which case